winning journey is over.
Did we just see what we think we just saw?
If that doesn't give you chills, you're never going to get them.
As good as it gets.
Lexington, Kentucky, known as the horse capital of the world, serves as an appropriate backdrop this evening in the race that is the Western Conference of the USL Championship. Lexington SC came into the season as one of the favorites, struggled early, surging as of late. Meanwhile, the Oakland Roots off to one of the best starts in club history. It's Lexington and Oakland. It's the USL on CBS Sports Network. You're watching the USL on CBS Sports, presented by Best Western. It's Lexington SC welcoming the Oakland Roots in a very tight Western Conference in the USL Championship. A win for Oakland can jump them into third from fifth. Lexington right now, yeah, they're down in 11th, but a win, and they would be level in fifth with Oakland. Happy to have you with us on CBS Sports Network alongside MLS veteran Ricky Lopez-Espin. I'm Joe Malfa. Ricky, these two teams not separated by much in the standings and not separated by much on the field. The margin's very slim in this one.
It's going to be a fascinating match because we have two teams that, yes, they can score goals for fun, but two teams that also concede a lot of goals, but also two teams that want to slow the game down and dictate the game. This game is going to be won and lost in that midfield battle. You have the ability to win that central location. It gives you the opportunity to pick up the points here tonight.
Lexington stumbled out of the gates this season in the attack, but things have really picked up as of late.
You and I had the ability to speak with Matt Kamian. We talked about their production going a little bit higher in that final third. He said, look, it's just coming down to players being a little bit more comfortable and the chemistry starting to grow. By the result of that, the conversion rate has been a little bit higher in the second part of the season, and it comes down to having that composure and being clinical in that final third because chance creation is not an issue for this side.
If they're going to be what they were supposed to be before the season set out, the stars have to be stars.
Philip Kudrum, he's going to lead the line on and off the ball. Off the ball, he's going to make center backs really uncomfortable, but on the ball, he's going to stretch the field, which allows players like Aaron Molloy underneath them more time and space to operate. Aaron Molloy can find that final ball. He can score goals for distance. Look for these two players to be massive if they want to keep all the points here in Lexington.
On the other side for the Oakland Roots, off to one of their best starts in the first half of the season in club history. They've matched last year's win total to this point already. The points are up. The goal differential significantly better. A lot of the underlying metrics show this team on the right trajectory. Shots per game, one of those. They are buzzing in and around the box right now. And Ricky, reigning Golden Boot winner Peter Wilson is a big reason why.
Peter Wilson is the best striker in all of the USL Championship because, yes, he can score goals, but he's also big. He's physical. He has pace, and he has a really good sense of timing and work rate when he arrives into the 18-yard box. Notice his movement and his positioning to start this clip in between both center backs, which, number one, is a nightmare to defend. But also, as this ball goes wide, he knows where he wants to end up. He wants to end up in the goal zone, and he has the pace to beat his individual marker to that spot. It's a wonderful ball in from Wolfgang Prentice, and also the soft feet to simply push it by the goalkeeper. As the second clip rolls, notice the amount of numbers right on top of that 6-yard box. Peter Wilson knows he's not going to win the initial ball, so what does he do? He backs up, he creates a little bit of separation, which also allows him to attack this ball, and he shows a little bit of acrobatics and a quality finish to find the back of the net. One thing that is for certain, you give him service, he's going to score goals.
These two teams don't have much history, just two meetings last year. They split. They both won their home game, and in doing so, essentially eliminated the other from playoff contention. They have some history. They don't like each other very much because of it. It's Lexington SC and the Oakland Roots next on CBS Sports Network. ready to go here at Lexington SC Stadium on a gorgeous evening as Lexington SC welcome the Oakland Roots. Let's meet the starting 11s for both these teams. They line up similarly in terms of the structure, and we begin with the home side.
For this Lexington side, that middle trio of Aaron Malloy, Blaine Ferry, look for them to sit a little bit deeper to dictate tempo, which allows that front four to be vertical. Rodriguez is going to make runs out of midfield, but also can drop a little bit deeper. Marcus Sepps is going to make that verticality, and then we have Philip Goodrum staying high and occupying this two center backs for the Oakland Roots. As for Ryan Martin, yes, it's the same type of system, but it's going to look different. They're going to stay a little bit more at home. Wolfgang Prentice will give you that directness, but Florian Velo and Tucker Lepley will have the ability to interchange off one another. And Peter Wilson, we talked about the service intent being crucial if the Oakland Roots want to find success here on the road.
Peter Wilson, he is the man on fire right now. He has scored in 7 of the last 8 regular season games in which he's played. Aaron Malloy leads the way for Lexington. 4 straight years, first team All-League in USL. It's Oakland right to left in the white and mosaic. It's Lexington left to right in the black with green trim. There's the whistle from Alyssa Pennington, and we are on our way on this Wednesday evening in the USL Championship. Happy to have you with us on CBS Sports Network alongside Ricky Lopez-Espin. I'm Joe Malfa. Very curious the level of intensity at the start of this game. As Wilson sent on his first run back to Zemele, and the offside flag comes up. As I mentioned before, there's not much history between these two teams, just the 2 games from last season, which both teams won at home. Lexington's win in August against Oakland essentially marked the beginning of the end for the Roots. Going into the last day of the season, then Roots head coach Benny Feilhaber was very vocal about wanting revenge on Lexington, and they throttled them. They beat them 3-0 in that game in Oakland, ending Lexington's season. It was public. There were comments made on both sides about these two teams, and this is their first meeting since then, so it's not much history, but it's something to watch. A lot of the faces on both sides carry over from last year.
But also, obviously, 2 different managers. Obviously, Ryan Martin now the head coach for the Oakland Roots, Matt Kemme the head coach for this Lexington side, and two coaches that, again, we talked about it in the open, that want to get on the ball. So the first 10 minutes is going to tell us a lot about, number one, like you said, Joe, the intensity, but having the ability to gain real estate and really dominate that midfield channel is going to be crucial.
Threaded through, looking for Goodrum, picked up by Navel Hackshaw and the Oakland Roots. Bobosi Biarahanga and Tommy McCabe going back and forth in the midfield. That duo is so crucial to what Ryan Martin wants to do. Biarahanga covers a lot of the ground. Tommy McCabe sets the tempo on the ball. And the way they play off of each other is essential to the Roots' midfield shape. You'll see a lot of this here tonight as well. Oakland comes into the day second in the USL Championship in possession per game. They like to play with the ball. Kendall McIntosh, his first touch is in goal again for the Roots. It's been back and forth between McIntosh and Raphael Spiegel, who is a different type of profile in goal for the Roots. He's been their starter most of the time this season. He's also made a lot of mistakes this season, which has led to McIntosh stepping in.
It's interesting seeing the 2 different goalkeepers for Ryan Martin and the Oakland Roots. Kendall McIntosh a little bit cleaner with the ball at his feet. So Ryan Martin understands that his team wants to have the ball. So a lot of times you need to pop the ball back into the goalkeeper. And that is why Kendall McIntosh has been getting the nod more often than not.
Dangerous one from Zemele. Velo gets there, deflected it. Malloy. First time in a while that Oakland is able to set out the 4 at the back that they desire right now with the guys they have available. David Garcia, Mark Fisher, 2 key defenders on the mend. They are a few weeks away each from returning from injury, but as it stands, this is Ryan Martin's preferred back 4.
And also notice how wide the 2 center backs are in their starting positions. That allows players like Tingy and De Vicente to push on extremely high and wide. Balls like this will be on, but also allows players like Wolfgang Prentice to push underneath Peter Wilson. So there's a little bit of rotation when building out of the back here for the Oakland Roots.
Shaky moment there from Prentice, but did well to win it back. De Vicente through. Wilson on the turn, battling. He is going to be swarmed every time he touches the ball. Marcus Epps racing away from Keegan Tingey, who fronts him. Epps looking end line. Epps wins a corner for the first time tonight for Lexington.
Clever from Marcus Epps. Notice how he lets this ball come across his body because he feels the pressure into the interior, and that unlocks that wide channel and a little bit of pace shown from the winger as well. That's going to be a fun battle. Keegan Tingey, really good 1v1. Marcus Epps, an attacking style outside player for this Lexington side. Dangerous set piece early on in this match.
2 goals and 3 assists so far this season for Marcus Epps, the 31-year-old from Jackson, Mississippi. He's been around the block in USL Championship. Whipped in from the corner, McIntosh punches clear. Everywhere he's been, Epps, he's had success. He broke out back in 2021 with San Antonio, time in Phoenix, Tulsa, Hartford, and now Lexington for the 2nd year in a row. .242 now, including tonight, USL Championship appearances for Marcus Epps. And it's a really new look attack for Lexington over the last few games as the Roots once again gain possession. Part of that stems from Bardilio Rodriguez coming back from his brief loan stint with One Knoxville of USL League One. It's a move that has now pushed Nick Firmino out wide. It's allowed Bardilio Rodriguez to come into a new position, enjoy a lot more success, and a player like Marcus Epps has been a lot more involved because of it.
But also there's a little bit more of a relationship between Philip Goodrum and Rodriguez as well. We talked about Goodrum making those runs that pull out center backs, and Matt Kemi loves that Rodriguez has the ability to retain possession in tight areas of the field, so he can play in between lines. So the space that is vacated by Philip Goodrum is where Rodriguez likes to operate. And Nick Firmino gives you a little bit more of that legs from that wide position. So a little bit change of the puzzle for Matt Kemi, and the result of it has been chance creation gone higher, but also being a little bit more composed in front of goal as well.
Here's Florian Velo stepping to it. Velo cutting it inside for Lepley. Terrific left foot Tucker Lepley has on loan from the LA Galaxy. Jermaine Brown made the defensive play. Watch the relationship between Tucker Lepley and Florian Velo for the Oakland Roots. Lepley wearing number 21, coming in off the right side. Florian Velo occupying the space in the middle as the number 10. Both those players very similar in how they see the game, how they read the game. They occupy a lot of the same spaces. Ryan Martin was adamant that those two, as they get on the same page, can be a lethal combination. Although right now, as it stands, you've got Florian Velo popping out as a left winger, so a little bit of a different wrinkle from the Roots.
Also Tucker Lepley sitting really deep as well. We talked about rotations all over the field. That is another one. It also tells you about the trust that Ryan Martin has within his players, saying you go as you see fit, but we have to remain really clever in terms of our structure that players need to be in position if we do lose possession of the ball.
Florian Velo, very experienced, 33-year-old from France. Had 6 seasons in MLS with Red Bull New York, and then 1 with FC Cincinnati before joining USL Championship with Miami. Spent 2 years at Loudoun United with Ryan Martin, and now joins him with the Roots. Tingey lost it. Prentice pressures. And all the way back again for Zemle. Lexington at 5-6-3, sitting in 11th in the West. As we showed you top of the broadcast with a look at the standings, things are tight. If they win this game, they go from 11th to level with the Roots in 5th place on 21 points each. It's really a tale of the first quarter of the season and the second quarter of the season if you want to split the first half into 2 quarters for Lexington. 4 wins, 2 losses in their last 6 games after a very poor start of 1-4-3 in their first 8. Mixed bag their last couple of regular season results. Identical score lines on the right side of one, on the wrong side of the other. They beat the Tampa Bay Rowdies, who sit in first place in the race for the regular season crown. They beat them 4-1, and then they came back at home and lost to New Mexico 4-1. Vicente works it back.
And notice what Lexington is doing defensively. They're going man for man, trying to man mark Florian Velo or Biara Hunga, whether it is with Rodriguez, Blaine Ferrier, or Aaron Malloy. So if you are one of the two center backs throughout the first 9 minutes, you're seeing a lot of the ball. You have to have the personality to bypass that midfield line. Balls need to be popped into Peter Wilson, Lepley, and Wolfgang Prentice, who need to do a good job at retaining possession. That is an opportunity for them to break this mid-block that we're seeing Lexington start in.
De Vicente, rookie out of Virginia collegiately. Ahead for Prentice. Wolfgang Prentice, did it take a deflection? No, just mishit it initially. Wolfgang Prentice is somebody that the Roots would like to get back on track.
And this is the type of ball that I'm talking about. You draw in McCabe, and now you bypass that midfield line, and now you unlock the attacking third. Yes, you need a little bit more quality here from Wolfgang Prentice, but that is the type of actions that you need to see from Hackshawn Edwards popping into that front line.
They want to get him back on track. He has 6 assists this season to go with his 5 goals. The assists have really come as of late. The goal scoring has gone dry, though, for Wolfgang Prentice. Of the 5 that he has this season, 4 of them came early on. 4 of his 5 goals in the first 6 games, just 1 in 9 games since then. You couple that with the fact that Peter Wilson, who's on the ball now, has 10 of the team's goals. Those 2 players have accounted for over 60% of the Roots' goals, and Prentice hasn't scored all that much as of late. All that's to say, it's a one-man show for Peter Wilson, and the others have to step up.
We spoke with Ryan Martin. That conversation came about, and he said, look, we just need more production from other players. And that was as simply as he put it, saying, you need more from Florian Velo, you need more from Jacqueson. Good run here from Jarl Hunga. And that is something that, as 2026 continues to progress for the Oakland Roots, you need to be able to spread the wealth in terms of the goal scoring.
Biarahanga looking centrally, defended well by Lexington. He also mentioned Biarahanga picking up a few more assists. He had a couple early in the season. He gets it in those areas. He had a good look there to play a ball in. Just has to be cleaner. Possession clinic so far for the Roots. 75-25. They lead in that category through 11 minutes. Dictating the tempo. Trying to go long now. Too long. Burks back to Zemle and clear. De Vicente waits one forward for Velo. Fistful of jersey. Velo fights through it. De Vicente, among the league leaders at left back in chances created and assists in the USL Championship. Took him a little bit to get going, coming from the college ranks. Ryan Martin said he needed to adjust to what it means to be a pro. He has now started to figure it out and put it together. Aaron Malloy dropping deep between the center backs. The more he's on the ball for Lexington in the advanced areas, the better. Oakland will be okay if he's picking it up between the center backs every time.
Something that we saw against New Mexico. New Mexico and Dennis Sanchez were very happy to allow Aaron Malloy have the ball 100 yards away from their defending goal. So again, we're seeing that for Ryan Martin, understanding the further away from goal Aaron Malloy is, the better it is for the Oakland Roots.
Aaron Malloy, a player who is just at the top of his game wherever he is every single year. 4-time All-League first team each of the last 4 seasons. His 4 seasons in the USL Championship. Before that, yeah, he was All-League first team in USL League One. Before that, he was All Big Ten first team as well. And Mac Hemme knows that everything flows through Aaron Malloy. As you said, if he's essentially playing as a third center back right now for Lexington, the Roots will be okay with that.
So then the responsibility is for Blaine Ferry to push on and almost play as dual 10s next to Rodriguez. That's the type of balance that you need. A good little bump off from Peter Wilson here.
Trying to force it back to Velo. Malloy recovers. Blaine Ferry, who just simply was available last year. He wasn't on a team. Opportunity never materialized. He got the call from Lexington. He signed, and he started every single game after that, and every single game so far this season. Listen, Pennington says play on. Numbers here. Wolfgang Prentice looking ahead to Peter Wilson, chasing. Zemle alert to it, and calmly done. Took a deflection, though. Caused some chaos. Where is he going with it? Somehow survives, and now it's the other way for Lexington. Brought back for a foul.
as this ball turns over. If you're Peter Wilson, you need to stay wide, because if you do stay wide, now you make Brown make a decision. As this ball's a little bit overhit, Zemle playing with fire here. As this ball comes in, you see Willem Gojum trying to shield off Hackshaw, but again, just overcomplicating things, the goalkeeper. Any sniff of danger, you need to push this ball up and away. Gets away with them, the goalkeeper.
De Vicente. Nice pocket of space for Prentice, just never controlled the ball. McHemmey disappointed with the start to this season for Lexington. So any way you slice it, we are in 11th place right now. No matter how close things are, no matter how much you can climb with a victory, we are in 11th. It's not where we want to be, but very optimistic. That was the word he kept coming back to, optimism for what is ahead, for a team that could be peaking going into the home stretch instead of sinking as they did last year. Malloy okay after that knock, but Bosi Biarahanga checking on him. And Ryan Martin looking on from the bench for the Oakland Roots. First season at the helm for Oakland, a team that until this season had not hired a head coach with previous head coaching experience within the league. So how do they rectify that? They went out and got one of the best pound-for-pound tacticians and coaches in this league. His 6 years at Loudoun, dealing with maybe not a full deck of cards there in terms of resources in the budget, but always found a way to get the best out of those teams. It's really been what we expected this year coming to the Roots, a team that on their best day, and as they regain health now through July and into August, they figured to be one of the true contenders in the West.
Ryan Martin has done a phenomenal job with the Oakland Roots. Number one, he's giving them an identity, which is something that has lacked within this organization for years. He wants his side, again, to be on the ball, but he has a really intense process on how he wants to attack the final third, whether it is with runs from inside out, but also you need that number 9, and that is exactly why you have Peter Wilson as a reference point, and then you allow players underneath to make movements off of Peter Wilson. It's been a phenomenal turnaround for Ryan Martin and the Oakland Roots.
It's interesting, in the last 2 minutes, we go from Lexington and McHemmey talking about the optimism of the run this team can make. And we're talking about Oakland, how it's an identity and it's the best they've been. That is the Western Conference right now. You can make the case for every team to make a run at this point, and you could also make the bearish case for every team to fall out of the race. If you gave me any combination of 8 teams as the playoff teams, probably would believe it. I can't say the same for the East. There's a couple of teams in the East that are really lagging behind, but of the 12 teams in the West, divide them up any order you want, and at the end of the season, it's probably believable. Neither side yet with that first good look at goal. As you mentioned, top of the broadcast, Ricky, 2 teams who have been scoring goals for fun as of late. Problem is they've also been conceding a little bit too much for their liking, so it was a recipe for an open, perhaps goal fest early on. These 2 teams tight, tense, waiting for the other one to maybe make that mistake or make that first move, and Noel Hackshaw will have to start his run up again unless Pennington comes in for a conversation with the combatants in the goal mouth. But one of the Roots goals this season from inside the box. They use these long throw-ins as additional set pieces, looking for a flick on, they don't get it. Lexington clears half-heartedly, now further away from Nick Firmino. Hackshaw sends it long. Tingy squaring it. Wilson saved by Zemle! Just made himself as big as possible. Looked like it might have hit him in the face. Any way you can keep it out. Velo took a deflection off of Jacob Green and out for a Roots corner, but there's your first good look.
This is really well done from Lepley, because this ball has a lot of air and it just beats Green to the spot. And then we talked about the timing for Peter Wilson. He's dropped a little bit deeper in front of Brown, so he's onside, and that is a wonderful save from Zemle, making himself big. But if you are Peter Wilson, you need to go for finesse rather than power from that distance. Just simply open up your hips and pass it towards your corner, and it's 1-0 Oakland Roots.
Caught it off the left chest there. In the end, Zemle spared the facial features, barely. 10 goals, tied for second in the league in the Golden Boot race, the reigning Golden Boot winner. Jesus De Vicente trots across to take this corner. Something to keep in mind, he has an Olympico already this season. It came in Prince Tire's USL Cup play against Las Vegas, but he is known to go for it and play with that level of flair. Something no doubt Oliver Zemle will be alert about. Will he have the audacity to go for that here? No, low ball toward that front post. Didn't get the flick he was looking for, but he'll get a second chance at it.
But you also very clearly see what the Roots are trying to do here. Just throw a lot of numbers right in front of Zemle. Trying to cause a little bit of confusion and chaos right in front of the goalkeeper.
Short this time, Lepley lays it back to De Vicente. From a better angle now, whips it in. McCabe rifles one, blocked. Velo settles it. Just buzzing around the box right now, the Roots from a long way out. Zemle, courtesy dive, it's wide. Lepley has their only goal from outside the box this season, making a bid for another.
That's been a really good start here for the Oakland Roots. Really unselfish from De Vicente to allow Tucker Lepley just to step into it. Hits it well, but always going wide. That's the type of quality that Lepley gives you. His first goal in a Roots jersey from that distance finds a top corner a couple games ago.
Came in a very important win, come from behind against El Paso for the Roots. Miscommunication there. Goodrum, though, fouled. Malloy and Goodrum now exchanging some words. Those two were attached at the hip in the offseason. Philip Goodrum came over from rival Louisville. It became the second six-figure move within the USL Championship after, a week prior, they acquired Aaron Malloy from Charleston. Two very big-ticket items. They've performed individually at times this season, more so Malloy. They want more goals out of Goodrum, a player who has set this league on fire at times. He's been limited so far in that capacity this season.
3 goals, 1 assist for Philip Goodrum. You need more production. That's plain as simple as that. Obviously a player that should be around the 10 to 15 goal mark every single year with the type of quality that he possesses, but he also gives you that tenacious mentality that leads a line. He's one of the players that you hate to play against but love to have on your team, Philip Goodrum.
His high water mark, 21 goals back in 2022 with Memphis. Last season, 14 goals with Louisville. Epps. Harassed by Lepley. Epps finds Malloy. This is where Lexington wants Malloy on the ball, not earlier when he was dropped between the two center backs. And now, this is really where you want Malloy on the ball. One of the best service providers on free kicks in all of USL Championship.
Nice feet here from Green, the little chop back, as he does have Keegan Tingy biting in. There is certainly some contact, but that is soft. Green knows exactly what's coming. But if you are Keegan Tingy, you extend away from your body, you run the risk. But again, really clever from the outside back to invite the contact, go down, and win a dangerous set piece as Aaron Malloy stand over it.
Four goals, 4 assists this season. He's been known for the odd banger or two from dead ball situations, but from this angle, probably a service. Malloy whips it in, dangerous ball, punched by McIntosh. McIntosh tracking it, harmless in the end.
Good save from Kendall McIntosh, especially with the quality of Malloy. Whips this ball in right into the dangerous area, allowing players to come across the face of the goalkeeper. Good concentration. And notice how he pushes it away from the players right in front of him, not allowing a rebound for Lexington here.
Olsen glanced at the referee, thought he was fouled. Malloy picks it up. Epps. Last season, Lexington, 9 wins, 12 losses, 9 draws. Finished 9th in the West, a point out of the playoffs. As we mentioned in the first couple of minutes of this one, these two teams last year essentially eliminated each other from playoff contention. The beginning of the end for the Roots was spelled by a 2-1 loss on this field. They had a lead. They conceded twice in the last 10 minutes to lose. It was all downhill from there. Lexington on the last day of the season needed a result to sneak into the playoffs with either the 7 or 8 seed, and the Roots beat them 3-0. McIntosh again sees it over the bar.
Did you see that ball from Aaron Malloy? Over 80 yards on a dime to change a point of attack. A glimpse of the quality from the midfielder.
These fans have taken a liking to Aaron Malloy in his first year with the club. Dangerous here. Hackshaw had McCabe off balance. You and I just getting a chance to chat week in, week out, all season long with the coaches in this league. After we do the business we need to do and chatting about the game at hand and the storylines that are relevant, and we have some spare time, one of the common questions that we ask the coaches, just sort of straw poll, who is the best player in the league? Almost all of them. If Aaron Malloy is not the first person they mention, he's at the very least the second person they mention. Time in, time out.
When Lexington signed Aaron Malloy, obviously we spoke with Matt Hemme and said, who has impressed you the most? And first name out of the mouth, Aaron Malloy, not only what he brings on the field, but the standard that he sets in the locker room, the work rate, that week in and week out, day in and day out in the training facility. He always has the highest numbers in terms of the distance covered, the output, and that leadership quality that he continues to possess. It's just a luxury of a player to have for this Lexington side. Good ball from Hackshaw.
Sneaks it through now wide for De Vicente. Telegraphed it, looking back for Velo. Firmino gives it away. Velo, Wilson. Nowhere to go with it. Slots it back through for Velo. Flag comes up, ending the threat. Zemle with another nice save just to show off a little bit, but another dangerous moment off of a giveaway.
Nice little two-man game between Peter Wilson and Florian Velo. But again, that's the second time that Lexington hasn't been as clean as you would need to be when trying to build out of the back. Especially with how dangerous Peter Wilson is, you cannot give him a ball in a dangerous area higher up the field.
A couple of times it's been Firmino involved in that. How much does a position change maybe impact a player's mentality in those moments where Firmino's used to being in the middle as the number 10? Ever since Braulio Rodriguez has come back from loan wearing number 27 in black, he has shifted into that position. How many of those maybe mini mental lapses for Firmino could be traced back to a player trying to gain his bearings in a new position?
I think you hit it on the second part. The bearings, the space is a little bit different. Good run.
Good drum, can't hold on to it.
The space is a little bit different when you play on the wide parts of the field versus that central, because pressure's coming from different areas, right? Because Nick Firmino, when you do play in that central location, a lot of times you receive with your back facing the goal, right? So you have to have the quality to get on the half turn. Now his back is going to be facing the sideline. So you have pressure coming from your right side, but also from your left side. So Nick Firmino, his body position, when you shift wide, is going to be crucial to receive the ball with your hips open, so then you can attack the game.
A little shove in the back there from Edwards. Free kick coming for Lexington.
Bit silly here from Edwards. It's a clear push in the back, just simply no need from the center back. Rodriguez makes the most of it, and another dangerous set piece as now Ferry joins Malloy over the ball.
Now we're in an interesting spot here as these two conspire over it. Malloy takes the ball. The last free kick was certainly a service from Malloy. This would be ambitious for a go at goal, but you have a goalkeeper in Kendall McIntosh who is on the shorter side as far as goalkeepers go. You have one of the best free kick takers in Aaron Malloy. Could he be feeling it? Could Ferry be feeling it? Either way here. Now you're in that gray area. It is Malloy at goal, deflected by the wall. Sunday at 5 Eastern, CBS Sports Network brings you more pitch play as the San Diego Wave take on Seattle Reign in an NWSL showdown. Almost a half hour in. Nothing yet separating these teams on the score sheet. The Roots have had the better of the play, the more dangerous of the chances. Long throw coming from Javane Brown, flicked on, right where they want it, loose, edge of the 6, and cleared. That is how you draw up a long throw to a tee for Lexington. All about that initial flick on to put it into a dangerous area. You're just hoping that it's somebody wearing your color jersey who gets a foot to it. Taken away. Well read by Zenge, but he gives it right back. De Vicente. Prentice. A lot higher the pressure now from Lexington. Trying to pin the Roots in deep, and McIntosh that comes to it.
Hackshaw struggling with the pressure, especially once he receives this ball. He pushes it on his left foot. You need to drop a little bit deeper, whether it is De Vicente or Wolfgang Prentice, because right now both players are running away. And that is something that Matt Kemi and Lexington are smelling. So they're trying to press and force the ball into Hackshaw.
Zenge. As this season's gone on for Oakland, Hackshaw has been the clear weak link in the back line. They were waiting for David Garcia to come back from injury. He was all-league first team in USL League One last year, made the jump from League One to the championship, and he was great early on for the Roots before his injury. Zenge distributes, back post, flicked away by Tingy. Epps was lurking.
He's starting to get a little bit more aggressive. Zenge from his right back position. Really good ball to that back post. And you have two players, Marcus Epps and Philip Goodrum, both making dangerous runs. You split the difference. Keegan Tingy doing a wonderful job at pushing it on and not allowing Marcus Epps at the back post.
Looking for that long throw and flick on again, Lexington. Hackshaw marauding through, nods it clear. Haven't really called Braudilio Rodriguez's name much yet for Lexington. They also haven't had the ball much, but when he picks it up, he's been dangerous. He did not start a single game. He didn't play in a single game for Lexington before his loan out to Knoxville. In that brief loan stint in the spring, he had 5 goals and 2 assists in 12 games in all competitions for Knoxville. Lexington called him right back. He has started 4 straight regular season games with a goal and an assist, but nothing doing yet tonight.
Especially with how aggressive the right-hand side for Lexington has been. If you are Rodriguez and you can provide a little bit of a pocket towards this near side, you're going to find some time and space. Only 14 touches for Rodriguez, and he's a player that we continue to talk about. You find him a little bit higher up the field. Philip Goodrum comes alive, and now your attack starts to click.
Malloy. Here's Rodriguez in some space. Chased down by McCabe. Yarahanga recovers. Hackshaw, that's where the clear pressing trigger seems to be. Once it hits McIntosh, once it hits Hackshaw, Lexington's swarming.
Really good ball there from Edwards. That's the type of ball that you continue to need to find to break through that front line and second line of press.
Firmino, there with plenty of MLS experience in his own right. Now it's Wilson turning the other way. Prentice. A player like Firmino, who was an MLS guy and has now maybe fallen through the cracks a little bit and become a regular key cog on a USL Championship roster. As part of a larger discussion we had with both coaches, with Matt Kemi of Lexington and Ryan Martin of Oakland coming into this game, we posited the question to both. Why is there so much parity? Why is the West so tight this year? Come back in a moment. Ferry looking through for Epps. And Tingy will usher it clear. One of the common themes from both coaches and from coaches around the league with promotion relegation on its way into USL, a lot of teams are just simply trying to get out in front of that, raise their standards internally in terms of player acquisition, coaching standards, and how far they push the envelope. Just look at the acquisitions of Goodrum and Malloy for this Lexington side. Lexington's a perfect example. They started out in USL League One for 2 seasons, and then they dished out the funds. They made the jump up to the championship. And again, now promotion relegation is on the horizon. That is really the rising tide that's lifting all the boats right now under the USL umbrella.
Understanding if you continue to set the standard and raise the standard, quality will come and follow. And both of these teams are very optimistic and very vocal of wanting to push high up the field, play at the highest level they possibly can.
A couple of years away from it, the advent of USL Premier and the pyramid that'll follow. De Vicente. Tucker Lepley. De Vicente once again. Velo. Interesting that Velo is rotated out on his left side so often here today. Wolfgang Prentice has taken that spot in the middle. Very much not what the expectation was. Velo. Prentice inside of him. Velo gets it back off the ricochet. Good step from Ferry. Now De Vicente. Biarahunga. You wonder if that tweak from Oakland is matchup based or if it's part of that larger discussion we had with Ryan Martin where there were too many instances where Florian Velo and Tucker Lepley were doing the same thing, were occupying the same space. Now you have them on opposite sides of the field.
Also have to imagine that since Lexington is going man for man in that middle, you try to draw out whether it is Malloy or Blaine Ferry towards the wide parts. In theory, that opens up a passing lane straight in to Peter Wilson.
De Vicente lost it. Well defended by Zengue. It's been moments like this where it's looked like Lexington could break out, but the pass is not crisp.
Just hasn't been clean enough. If you are Zengue, no need to go back into the inside. Continue to be aggressive, continue to drive at this back line and put pressure on Hackshaw. Just hasn't been clean enough for this Lexington side.
McCabe. Space for Biarahunga. 24-year-old from Uganda. 28 caps for his country. Was their Young Player of the Year in 2021. Started now each game for the Roots, bar 1 in the regular season. And there was a back-to-back where they lost 2 games to Roots. One in Prince Tires Cup play and one in regular season play. Biarahunga, those were the 2 games that he missed. And Ryan Martin came up to him afterwards and in the games that followed and said, look at the results when you weren't on the field. Just a way to build his confidence up. They lost both those games. He is so vital to what they do. Lepley keeps it in play. Flag stayed down. On his preferred left foot, lays it off. Floated in by Velo, knotted down by Tingy. De Vicente was lurking. Goodrum trying to hold it up. Hackshaw wins it instead. Velo trying to take it wide. Goodrum there every step of the way. We talked about it earlier. The Roots second in the league in terms of average possession per game. It's up near 65% right now. It's going to form. Lexington doesn't mind it. The majority of their results have actually come when they've trailed in the possession category. And they've conceded that to the opposition. 3 wins, 3 draws when they have less of the ball. Firmino combining with Rodriguez.
And just not enough movement ahead of the ball right now for Lexington. You have
Rodriguez flicks it on. That was better.
Lexington is at their best when they are moving off the ball, when they have numbers high up the field. Whether it is this time Blaine Ferry from a deeper line position, but Nick Firmino plays this ball into Rodriguez. You need Marcus Epps to come alive.
Here they go, driven through. McIntosh spilled it, but he was fouled. Goodrum was the one who commits it as he slid into the keeper. He's not happy with it. He felt he had every right to that ball.
Love the aggressiveness from Marcus Epps, running at Tingy with space. So he has the advantage, this long touch to create separation, and now you put the ball into a dangerous area. And rightly so, Philip Goodrum has every single right to challenge for this ball because Kendall McIntosh does not have it secured. As this ball pops out, it's a live ball. You see the way that he comes in, maybe Studor exposed. That is what Mr. Pennington does whistle. But those are the types of plays and service that Philip Goodrum loves to get on the end of. Good action from the winger, Marcus Epps.
Jesus De Vicente chatting with his head coach, Ryan Martin. Well, beyond the possession, these two sides even right now in two other key underlying categories. Touches in the opposing 18-yard box, only 3-2 in the Roots' favor. And final third entries, 16-15 in Lexington's favor. So they're both just about doing what they want to do, how they want to do it. They just haven't been as clean as they've been in previous games in the attacking third where it counts most. McIntosh, poor giveaway, Malloy. Dummied by Ferry, pushes it across, too much for Epps. Again, it's another moment where something should have been on in the attacking third, but they're just not clean.
They need to be more efficient. Lexington, it's a really silly giveaway from Kendall McIntosh. When trying to play out of the back, you always want to overhit it versus underhit it, because if you underhit it, that allows the opposition to be in a better position. Thankfully for the Roots, Lexington just not clicking in the final third right now.
Wilson nudged off of it. Well defended by Javane Brown. Malloy, Wilson still down. That's a concern for the Roots. He's missed a little bit of time due to injury this season. Was limited to a 45-minute cap last game against New Mexico in defeat, and then didn't play their Prinks Tires Cup match against Spokane. Looks to be okay as he jogs back in defense now. Ferry back to Rodriguez. Goodrum lays it off. Nick Firmino off the post! Zenge keeps it in play. Floats it back stick. Rodriguez was there, settled. Shot for a handball off the volley by Ferry. No dice. Ferry lays it off. Rodriguez ends the threat. Well off target, but that was the best moment of the game for either side.
So good from Lexington again when they are connected, when they are moving the ball quick. Notice this little bit of a layoff here from Blaine Ferry, phenomenal. As Nick Firmino takes his head up, now he has two options. He can either go wide, but as there's no pressure on the ball, that's why he pulls the trigger. Hits it so well, so clean. Has Kendall McIntosh speeds, always bending away and just kisses off that far post. Best action that we've seen from the home side.
Those are the moments as to why Mac Hemme keeps going back to that word optimism for what lies ahead this season for Lexington. It looked pretty. It had everything but the finish. It was struck well by Firmino, and you've got a round ball on a rounded cylindrical post. The bounces sometimes can be funny. That could have easily skimmed in for Lexington. Instead, it rifles out. He feels Mac Hemme, they've been unlucky at times, and that was an illustration, maybe. Epps weaving in, cleared. Momentum swinging Lexington's way in the dying embers of this first half. A first half that in many ways has been a microcosm of the first half of this season for Lexington. Very slow start, very strong finish. Ferry, Firmino. Shoved ahead to Ferry, was off balance. Came through clumsily. Couldn't do anything with it to salvage the play.
Never really got his feet set, Blaine Ferry. But we're starting to see, watch out, a little bit of coming together between Goodrum and Hackshaw. As Zenge continues to be aggressive from his right back position.
Melissa Pennington is going over to chat with her assistant referee on the near side. Chris Scherfranz had a better view of it. As you mentioned, Ricky, it was behind the play.
This ball in from Zenge into Blaine Ferry. really got his feet set as Wolfgang Prentice does a good job at coming across. We'll see between Goodrum and Hackshaw right now having a little bit of a conversation.
Ooh. A little bit of a grab slash slap.
You need to
The
be
back
a bit
of the
smarter
head.
there if you are Hackshaw. Every single time you raise your hand towards the head area of a player, you run the risk. And this is exactly what I've talked about with Philip Goodrum. He's the type of number 9 that gets underneath your skin, that has such a good feel of frustrating the opposition.
Novell Hackshaw picks up the yellow after all that. Bear in mind, in a situation like that, there is no VAR yet in the USL Championship, so it's up to the referees to try and piece together what happened based on what they saw. Right here, left side of your screen, Hackshaw, it's probably not a wise thing to do. Is it a red card? I don't know. You're striking a player in the head, no matter how hard it is, you're going to leave yourself into that area of ambiguity.
Let's put it this way, if Hackshaw did see red, there wouldn't be a problem with it, right?
Right.
But obviously, there isn't that much of an extension or a push away that
Yes,
aggressively.
the famed mythical orange card in that moment, probably appropriate for Novell Hackshaw.
I think that is what saves Hackshaw from seeing a different color. Again, needs to be a lot smarter in containing his emotions, Hackshaw.
Only a minute of stoppage time here in what has been mostly a cagey first half, but late on, chances have started to flow for Lexington. Yarahanga looking long, Wilson trying to fight through the traffic. It's been a relatively quiet first half for Wilson, who commits the foul. Maybe frustration mounting in a half that really hasn't seen the ball find him.
A lot of the work that we've seen Peter Wilson throughout this first half has been using his body, trying to fend off the 2 center backs in Burks and Brown, who've done a really good job at trying to take Peter Wilson out of the game. And it's been, through the first 45 minutes, 2 teams that have approached this game really similar. But if you are Matt Kemp, you're probably the happier of the 2 managers going into the locker room because all the momentum is at your back now.
I think those first 45 minutes, Ricky, a really good illustration of how tight these teams are. It was the first thing we said when we came on the air. The margins are tight right now in the standings, and the margins would be tight tonight on the field the way these 2 teams play.
And it's very clever because you see the transitional moments that could be something that can be the difference in that second 45 minutes, understanding both teams want the ball.
Big piece of what Lexington do flows through their captain, Aaron Malloy, and he's joining us now on the field. Aaron, is Joe Malfa, Ricky Lopez-Espin in the booth. Take me through that first half. The first 20 minutes or so, you guys more on the back foot. Last 20 minutes, though, you really asserted yourselves, found the chances. What changed midway through the half?
Yeah, I can't hear it.
Well, you love live television and technical difficulties sometimes. Aaron Malloy not hearing us, but Aaron Malloy had his input in that first half as Lexington started to find their way at the midpoint. It's 0-0 between Lexington and Oakland. More to come. It's CBS Sports presenting the USL Championship from Best Western.
Representing Asbury University men's soccer on the field, please welcome from Somerset, Kentucky, number 9, Tyson Absher. From Monticello, Kentucky, number 28, Aiden Tucker. And from Somerset, Kentucky, number 98, Landon Lonsky. And for the Asbury women's soccer team, please welcome from Lexington, Kentucky, number 9, Kate Van Meter, along with her senior teammate from Lexington, number 34, Maggie Perry. Asbury's men's and women's soccer programs compete in NCAA Division III as a member of the Collegiate Conference of the South. The men will open their season on September 1st at home in Wilmore, Kentucky, hosting Pennsylvania University, while the women's home opener is September 9th against Spalding University. Fans, turn your attention to the pitch where we have Bob joining us for the Kentucky Lottery Kick for Kicks Challenge. Bob is going to have 5 shots to hit the crossbar out of the air. If he hits the crossbar with any of his 5 shots, he'll be going home with 2 tickets to a future Lexington SC match, along with prizes courtesy of the Kentucky Lottery. LSC fans, get loud and show your support for Bob. Nice job, Bob. 2 out of 3. Congratulations, Bob. You're a winner. Let's hear it for Bob.
USL on CBS Sports is presented by Best Western. At the break, it's 0-0 between Lexington and Oakland. Regular season, not the only competition to be talking about right now. Glad to have you back in the booth. Alongside MLS veteran Ricky Lopez-Espin, I'm Joe Malfa. We also have the Prinks Tires USL Cup quarterfinals in a couple of weeks. We're a couple of weeks removed from the last day of group play, and it was all the drama we were hoping for.
What I love about the USL Cup is it rewards attacking style of soccer, and that, as a former striker, that's music to my ears, Joe. And you look at this quarterfinal setup, right? We have some fantastic matchups headlining by Tampa Bay Rowdies hosting Louisville City.
We'll get to that one in a second. Great rivals in the USL Championship meeting in this tournament as well, but there's also the prospect for upsets. There are 2 USL League One teams that got through to the quarters. Spokane and Charlotte also hosting in their quarters as well.
Lee Wiedemann, you have to take this opportunity and run with it. Spokane Velocity, when they play at home, they're just so difficult to beat. While Charlotte Independence will be hosting at their home venue as well. For USL League One, it's an opportunity to showcase yourself against higher competition, and for the clubs and players, what an opportunity this is.
Spokane already has an upset. They beat Oakland in the last day of group play to get here. Charlotte already has an upset. They beat Charleston in the last day of group play to get here. So switchbacks, Hartford, look out in this one.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting, but look down in the right-hand corner as well. Miami FC will go to San Antonio. Carlos Ramos has done a wonderful job with an experienced side. Win or go home, you look for experience. You look for players that have been there and done that in high-pressure situations. Phenomenal round of games.
And as you alluded to, Tampa Bay and Louisville City, that has been the defining rivalry of the USL Championship over the last 6 or 7 years. And we not only get it in the regular season twice this year, we not only may get it when all is said and done in the playoffs this year, we also get it in the quarterfinals of the Prinks Tires USL Cup this year. And we have plenty more coming your way from Lexington. Very interesting first half between these 2 teams, mostly canceling each other out. We'll see what half number 2 has in store. You're watching the USL on CBS Sports, presented by Best Western.
One final time tonight. Get on your feet and get ready and make some noise for the LFC T-shirt toss.
Nil-nil through 45 minutes between Lexington and Oakland. A slow start to this one really picked up as the half went along. We'll look back at highlights from the first 45. In the end, the more dangerous of the opportunities really belonged to Lexington after Oakland's strong start.
In the first couple minutes, we saw the Oakland Roots. If you are Peter Wilson, it's the wrong type of run here. You need to stay wide because as you come narrow, you close down the passing lane. But Zemley wants to go on a little bit of a run here, tries to overcomplicate it, the goalkeeper, especially once you receive this ball. This ball needs to be pushed up and away, never back centrally, but also never as a goalkeeper trying to get a little bit higher up the field. He gets away with one and a little bit of a sigh of relief from Lexington. And then you started to see the Oakland Roots get on the ball. Leftley doing a wonderful job at beating Green to the spot. And we talked about the timing from Peter Wilson. He's onside. Starts a little bit deeper underneath Brown. And as he tries to go for power, Zemley makes himself big, doesn't know much about it. The only thing that he cares about is the ball does not hit the back of the net.
That was about it for the Roots' chances in the first half. Then it belonged to Lexington.
Lexington were just so good when they played in that central location. Third player coming in. Nick Firmino gets on the end of a wonderful flick from Goodrum and just gets denied by the goalkeeper's best friend. A shake of the head in disbelief from the winger from Lexington.
They are getting closer and closer. You got to make sure fans, young and old, are entertained in this second half. It's up to Lexington to get that going. Half number 2 is on the way. It's the USL on CBS Sports, presented by Best Western. take a look at the travel map brought to you by Best Western.
See, Tommy McCabe is just so influential for this Oakland Roots side. You see a lot of the work that he's been able to do has been in that central location, but you also see bottom right of your screen, he's popping out to this near side a lot, understanding that if he can pull out numbers, that opens up spaces into that central location. The more Tommy McCabe gets on the ball, the more success Oakland Roots will have going forward.
Where's that captain's armband? He's so important to what Ryan Martin wanted to instill with this group this year. His first season at the helm, he didn't come alone. He spent his time, 6 years of it, in Loudoun here in USL Championship. Got them finally over the hump into a postseason, really dealing with the bottom of the barrel resources in the league in terms of what he had to play with year in, year out for Loudoun United. But then the fresh start, joining the Oakland Roots this year, appointed back in November ahead of the 2026 season. He had a chance to get his fingerprints all over this team, and he did so by relying on Tommy McCabe, by relying on Florian Velo, and by relying on Keegan Tingey, bringing them this way. Now, Florian Velo and Keegan Tingey started the season with injury issues. McCabe has played every minute. You can almost bank on it. If those three guys are healthy, they're going to be out there for Ryan Martin.
Every line of the field is someone that Ryan Martin trusts and really is comfortable with. Obviously, Keegan Tingey in the back line, Tommy McCabe centrally, and Florian Velo on that top line.
Lexington right to left in the black, Oakland left to right in the white, and underway in this second half. Alongside MLS veteran Ricky Lopez-Espin, I'm Joe Malfa. Pleased to have you with us this evening on CBS Sports Network. Lexington SC Stadium in Lexington. First meeting of the season between these two sides, only the third meeting overall. They each won the home game last year. Last August on this field, 2-1 Lexington, with plenty of second half drama en route to that victory. Awkward clearance and out for a corner. Quick start to this second half here for Lexington. The last 15 minutes or so of that first half from Lexington, just a stampede in the attack. Wave after wave. Did not have a shot on target, but did hit the post. Short from the corner. Ferry wanted Malloy, and that's his shooting range. He is one of the best in the league as far as just rifling from distance. Oakland snuffed it out, now a counter of their own. Lepley wants it wide, gets it. Lepley back to Prentice, Wilson lurking, gathered by Zemley.
Good work rate from Wolfgang Prentice, right back to front in the blink of an eye. Good underlapping run, and the weight on this ball from Tucker Lepley, flawless. You need to pull this ball away from Zemley if you want Peter Wilson to try to get on the end of it.
I'll sign up for more counterattacks like that in this second half. Started to get more open at the end of the first half here in the horse capital of the world. Felt like we were at the racetrack. Velo, heavy touch. Usually Hackshaw comes up to commandeer these. The long throw specialist for the Roots. Tingey will take charge. And they'll go short instead. Tingey. Ferry rolls it back, so composed in the midfield, but gives it away. Played it off of Wilson. Deflects away from Peter Wilson, cleared by Burks. There's just been sloppy moments in key areas from players you don't expect it from. You don't expect that from a Blaine Ferry. You don't expect it from a Florian Velo, who had a moment in the first half. Very tight, very tense right now between these two teams. Yarahunga. McCabe.
Touched on it at the end of the first half, with both of these teams wanting to be possession-based, wanting to get on the ball and methodically break through lines. They like to commit a lot of numbers forward, so transitional moments can be the difference in this second half. Understanding that if you do have the ability to recover the ball, your first look needs to be forward into your top players breaking lines, because that allows you to have a lot of real estate that you can operate in going back the other way.
You wonder at all if legs become an issue late in this game. Something that I think we touch on here and there, but maybe not enough in this league. Travel, sometimes difficult getting across this giant country we have. Oakland, 12-hour travel day coming in from San Francisco to Dallas, Dallas to Lexington. Thankfully, nobody overslept, missed a flight, all here. But you wonder if late in the game it becomes an issue, the travel coming in. Malloy knocks one long. See, there's really two sides of that coin. You touched on it earlier, Ricky. New Mexico wanted him to receive the ball a lot on the back line last game. It's how they neutralized him. The Roots have been doing some of the same, but then he could ping a ball like that, and he can spark an attack from that back line. And now they go. Firmino from a long way out again, deflected it in! Goodrum got a piece of it! And a goal scorer has his moment.
Need to be clean if you are the Oakland Roots, trying to play out of the back. Garahunga pushes the issue, floor and below, really sloppy, but notice how quick you go out the other way for Rodriguez. That allows Nick Firmino to be a little bit more aggressive. There's simply no pressure on the ball. And as he has the ability to pick up his head, to take a second, a third touch, that allows him to step into it. And this is all about Philip Goodrum, number one, playing in between both center backs and just being light on his feet. Just simply trying to redirect it towards goal. A striker's finish, instinctual, and Lexington take the lead minutes after coming out of the break.
Yeah, that's the word there, all instinct from Philip Goodrum, his 4th goal of the season. Number 66 in his USL Championship regular season career. A goal scorer's goal. Found the soft spot, reacted quickly, perfect touch. Officially their first shot on target of the day, and it gives them the 1-0 lead. Now you're looking for a response if you're Oakland. They've struggled at times this season when falling behind. They did pick up a win from behind against El Paso not too long ago, but El Paso picked up a red card in the first half of that game. So Oakland spent a lot of time up a man in their road back. Won 4-3 when conceding first. Although they would love to turn the tables when they were here last year in August. They scored first. They lost 2-1 on 2 goals in the last 10 minutes to Lexington. Can the Roots flip that?
Again, with the pressure oncoming, the Oakland Roots have to be smarter. Do not try to overcomplicate it and overplay. That is when you need to pop the ball again into that front line for Peter Wilson. Just allow him to fight for it. Because right now, Matt Kemi and Lexington squeezing this game and keeping it higher up the field.
Epps. Lexington picked up that same confidence they ended the first half with. Wilson chasing. Wilson gets there. Touch took him wide. Waiting for support. Peter Wilson darting end line. Really just ran into Aaron Malloy. Was hoping for the best, didn't get it.
Just so opportunistic, Peter Wilson is. Knows that there is going to be a little confusion between Burks and Zemle, so if he gets on the end of it, but that touch takes him far too wide. And notice the player putting pressure, Aaron Malloy, running back over 50, 60 yards to deny Peter Wilson a look on goal, and then the passion shown after Really good work from the midfielder.
Celebrating that challenge like he would celebrate a goal. A yellow shown to Philip Goodrum this time for descent to Melissa Pennington. So it's Hackshaw and Goodrum on a yellow each, and those two have been battling this whole game. So keep that in mind as they go into their next challenge together, that they're both in the book already.
The referee has issued a yellow card to LSC's number 9 in the 55th minute. Number 9, Philip Goodrum.
Edwards all the way back to McIntosh. As far as strikers go in this league, between Philip Goodrum and Peter Wilson, a pair of thoroughbreds. Right now, edge to Goodrum. Will Wilson have his moment at the other end? Tingy floats it on his off foot. This is more like it for Lexington in this last 6-game stretch in the regular season. 4 wins, 2 losses. When they've jumped on teams and scored first, they've succeeded. They've been good at finding that second goal as well when the game opens up. Found 4 of them against Tampa Bay, as a matter of fact. Lex stays down. Firmino again lofting it in.
It's a really clever clipped little ball from Blaine Ferry towards that far post. But again, if you are Nick Firmino, nice pocket of space. And if you are Nick Firmino, you need to be aggressive there. You need to have a shot on target, because that is a wonderful opportunity for Lexington to try to test McIntosh again.
You're seeing some of the fruits of this decision to bring Braudelia Rodriguez into the 10 and pop Firmino out wide. You also saw the growing pains of it. He had that really bad giveaway in the first half as he's still getting his bearings in this new position. But when he comes in off that right flank, acting as a second 10, cutting inside, he hit the post once, he created the goal, he was dangerous again there. This unlocks a new level, it seems, for Lexington.
And it's all about timing when he does pop into that half space for Nick Firmino, because if he comes too early, that space is already congested. Good ball.
Wilson eyeing goal himself, deflected save by Zemle, stood with it. Goalkeeper's nightmare on a deflection like that.
Wonderful ball in from Hackshaw, straight into Peter Wilson, and Peter Wilson receives this ball already facing forward, so now he has 2 options. He either could go wide. That is a good save from Zemle, despite the deflection.
1 goal off the Golden Boot pace, Peter Wilson, reigning Golden Boot winner for his 18 goals last year. Ended the year tying a USL record with goals in 8 straight games. It was part of a larger stretch where he scored in 13 of his last 14 appearances. You add that up with the start to the season he's had with 10 goals in 13 games. He has scored in 20 of the last 27 regular season games in which he's played, Peter Wilson.
That's just silly. That is incredible, the form that Peter Wilson continues to be in.
Largely been neutralized tonight. A couple of moments where he's committed a frustration foul as well, and the body language showed it. But he's finding more spaces in this second half. Lepley on that wicked left foot pushes it across. Settled by McCabe. Out to Prentice. Wolfgang Prentice wins a corner.
Good patience here from the Oakland Roots to change a point of attack, but notice the composure from Tommy McCabe. As he takes this first touch, he pulls in Zenge, and now he plays it into Wolfgang Prentice. Good box recovery from Burks, but if he plays that ball first time, now Zenge is able to close down the angle. That little detail opened up the space for Wolfgang Prentice.
Outswinger, Hackshaw got there. A lot of traffic, not a lot on the header. De Vicente, McCabe. Roots readying some changes. Looks like Bertrand Jacquesson and Danny Trejo. Prentice. Circumnavigating, and Zemle has it. For all the talk we had in the first half about Lepley and Velo being maybe two of the same type of player, there's a reason for that in Ryan Martin's mind as he's set to bring on Bertrand Jacquesson and Danny Trejo. Come back to that in a second. Another giveaway from Lexington. Can the Roots finally make them pay? Velo chipping it through. Lepley holding it up. But Ryan Martin is of the school of thought that he wants to be able to bring on pace and bring on that dynamism to impact a game. He feels that if he starts with Trejo, with Jacquesson, and then brings on Velo or Lepley, it just doesn't give you that same punch off the bench. So there is a method to why he groups the players the way he does. Now I'm curious to see who these two will be coming in for when that substitution happens.
As a defender, after working extremely hard for 65 minutes, the last thing that you want to see is a player like Danny Trejo coming onto the field that is just going to continue to run at you.
Hello, Prentice. Starting to combine more, Oakland. Tingy back to McCabe. Hour gone, half hour remains. Lexington's goal from Philip Goodrum in the 50th minute. On their first and so far only shot on target of the match. Efficiency from Lexington. But 4 clean sheets this season. They can make it 5 for Oliver Zemle. It'll be 3 points that vault them from 11th up into 5th. End line deflected, and another corner coming for Oakland.
Second time in about 5 minutes that Kendall Burks has done a phenomenal job at just providing coverage for Zenge. Notice when he leaves his feet, and notice how high he puts his right leg. Notice that Wolfgang Prentice is going to try to clip this ball to that back post. Really good box defending again from the center back.
How tight the margins are in this conference. Lexington started the day in 11th. Oakland in 5th. Now Oakland dipped down into 6th. Lexington leapfrog from 11th into 5th. And they have a game in hand on second place San Antonio with just 4 points behind. You win a couple of games, you put a stretch together, all of a sudden you're right in it. A whistle came before the corner was taken. Lexington protesting that it came after. You could read Melissa Pennington's lips right there. It was before the kick, it was before the kick. So Oakland catches a break here. Just a talking to and a retake instead of possession the other way. For real this time. De Vicente drops it in. Lepley is not shy about shooting with that left foot, but had nowhere to go. Off to the races, Lexington. It's a 3v1, almost 4v1. Goodrum pulling the strings. Goodrum, Ferry, chipping, scoring! Lexington doubling the lead!
Mentioned transitional moments going to be crucial in this second half. As this ball pops out, you cannot lose this ball if you are Lepley. Kick it away, do anything other than giving possession back to Lexington. But give credit to Philip Goodrum. He has 2 players and 2 options, but the main emphasis here is to allow Biaralhunga to make a move. And as Biaralhunga pushes a little bit wide, just simply push it into the path of Blaine Ferry. And what a cheeky little finish this is from Blaine Ferry. understands Kendall McIntosh just pushing high, so there's only one place that you can go, over him. The technique, the audacity, and the efficiency to find the back of the net and double Lexington's lead here at home. Phenomenal transitional goal.
Third goal of the season for Blaine Ferry. Among many things, it's one of the special uniquities of the USL Championship and USL League One. It gives so many talented players a place to play. A former MLS guy in Blaine Ferry and his time with the Inter Miami organization and the FC Dallas organization. Somehow, last year, just sitting there, we had a conversation last year with then Lexington head coach Terry Boss. He didn't really know how it came about. He didn't really know why Blaine Ferry was just sitting around. Blaine Ferry didn't really know why he was just sitting around. He just simply fell through the cracks. There's no other way to put it or sugarcoat it. Lexington offered him a contract, 25-day initially. He took that into a full season contract, started every game, has started every game this season, and is maybe one of the most important players on this team. He doesn't turn 26 until September. Just a massive pickup for Lexington.
He's been just so good for Lexington. Understanding his relationship with Aaron Malloy, and something that goes unnoticed is that he's left-footed as well, right? So he has a more of a natural tendency to play on this left-hand side, which allows Aaron Malloy to shift to that right. So there is a really good balance of understanding that they both can do a little bit of everything. If one pushes high, the other one drops deep, and vice versa. But Blaine Ferry has that quality to, on display, score goals, but find that final ball. He's been a massive addition to Lexington.
Oakland in the celebrations made their two subs. Bertrand Jacquesin for Wolfgang Prentice and Denny Trejo for Tucker Lepley. So he didn't exactly color himself in glory there, Lepley, in what was his last play of the game as he gave it away and sparked that attack. Lexington this season perfect when they score multiple goals, 5-0-0. 2 has been their magic number. Long road back now for the Roots. Trying to get it started here with a long throw from Hackshaw. Hackshaw gets it where he wants it. In case you were wondering, Philip Goodrum did complete his Gordie Howe hat trick. Scored the goal in the 15th minute, picked up a yellow card shortly thereafter for dissent, and now added his assist, all in the span of 16 minutes. Not quite Trevor Emmons' 3-minute and 27-second hat trick that we saw on CBS over the weekend, but a 16-minute Gordie Howe hat trick.
Really well done. Good performance thus far from Philip Goodrum. The composure to make the right play and just let the play develop. A lot of times players play that ball too early, which cuts down the angle. Waits to the very last moment to play to the path of Blaine Ferry.
This has been the story of Oakland's season to some extent. Coming into the night, a win would have given them their best ever start through 16 games in club history. If this does hold, they'd fall from 5th into 6th, so it's not all bad. But there's been so many of these games, Ricky, where you walk away feeling as if Oakland were the better team for large stretches of the game, but in the key moments, in both boxes, they have let themselves down, and that's why, although it's been a good first half of the season, it really could have been a better first half of the season.
We just look at the 2 goals that you concede. Number 1, it's off of a turnover from Florent Velo when trying to build out of the back. And then the second goal, clearly Tucker Lepley takes far too long on the ball, and now that allows Lexington to be in transition. So if you erase those 2 mistakes, this game is still 0-0.
It's a difficult one next for Oakland as well on the weekend against Sacramento in the NorCal Derby. Their bitter rival who they really haven't had much success against over the last couple of years. They won the season series in the inaugural 2021, their first season. The first season of the NorCal Derby, they have not won that rivalry series in a season since then. Lexington will visit Tulsa next on the weekend. The reigning Western Conference champions lost to the Pittsburgh Riverhounds in a shootout in the title game last year. Hope to be going into that off another 3 points, Lexington. Here's Rodriguez. taking a lot of space. It's Epps. It was offside.
Now you see Marcus Epps, bottom of your screen, wanting this ball a lot quicker. Goes back to what we mentioned with the Philip Goodrum assist. If you played earlier into Marcus Epps, that allows him to drive at the back line with more time and space to operate in. As you take that second, that third, that fourth touch, now that window just gets tighter and tighter, and the timing becomes off.
Wilson. Offside. They need him to produce something in these last 20 minutes if they're going to find any road back into this game. Now a change on the Lexington side. That'll be all for Brodelio Rodriguez. Had his moments in this one. Not quite as potent as he's been in his first 3 starts since returning from his loan spell. Tariq Scott enters in his stead. Might that push Firmino into the true spot as a number 10? Yep, they'll shake hands actually on his way across. Tariq Scott, he'll end up on the right side, and Firmino will tuck back in.
Scott's going to give you that verticality, that movement off that weak side, so expect him to be really direct, really testing this Oakland Roots back line. Like Firmino will pop in that central location and play as a withdrawn number 10 underneath Philip Goodrum for the remainder of this game.
Dynamite off the bench, Tariq Scott, 21-year-old from Plano, Texas. Here on loan from FC Dallas, or rather it was on loan from FC Dallas to Monterey Bay last year, now joining Lexington this year. All his appearances off the bench, now make it 10 of them for 171 total minutes. So he has been playing a very specific role, whether up a goal to help press from the front and salt the game away, or whether down a goal and needing to change the game. He's really good in this game changer type of role. Jacqueson trying to play that role for the Roots, but loses it as Javane Brown comes in. Let's take a look at the Best Western upcoming schedule under the USL umbrella. This Saturday, you've got Detroit City and Las Vegas on ESPN2. Following week, it's the Tampa Bay Rowdies in Louisville City. That game is your regular season game. Remember, at halftime, we told you those 2 teams will be playing in the Prince Tires USL Cup as well. That's not until mid-August. This is a regular season game this weekend. And then a few days later, Richmond and the Cosmos here on CBS Sports Network as well. You and I will have the call this Saturday for that Detroit City-Las Vegas game. We go from a Golden Boot contender tonight, Peter Wilson, to the Golden Boot leader, Darren Smith in that one. Goodrum pushing it through for Epps, who's offside.
And same type of message from Marcus Epps, wanting it earlier. It's a really good run because he knows Keegan Tingey's caught way too wide, so that opens up that space between Edwards and the right back. It's a little bit late to recognize it, Philip Goodrum.
Do you put an asterisk next to Smith's Golden Boot lead? I'll come back to that. I might have saved you a hard question. Scott through.
Trying to set me up, Joe.
5 of his goals came in one game against last place Jacksonville. Does that count?
I mean, technically,
it counts.
Yes,
it counts.
If you are Peter Wilson, you're looking at that game and saying,
yeah, when do I play Jacksonville? That's what you're saying if you're Peter Wilson. Below, through for Jacqueson. Wilson darting centrally. Jacqueson behind him. Here's Trejo. It's blocked. I don't know if that was intended for the trailing run of Trejo or if it was just a miss hit looking for Wilson. Either way, it was almost effective.
But it's really good secondary movement from Danny Trejo, knowing that Peter Wilson is going to pull out one of the 2 center backs, so you have to have a presence around that penalty mark. Good recovery from Zenge, who initially is beat.
Only 2 shots on target for Oakland on 4 total shots in this game.
Good read from Marcus Epps here.
And he gets there ahead of Edwards. Epps has Goodrum, feeds it in behind. Philip Goodrum lost his balance. Awkward hit. Could have ended this game. Oakland running out of time with which to work as far as mounting a comeback here. Just over a quarter of an hour remaining. Great challenge put in to win it.
Just a little bit slow in this second half. All over the field for the Oakland Roots. That long touch from De Vicente allows Tariq Scott just to leave his feet. And it's a really good challenge from the sub. Really clean. The follow through catches De Vicente.
Here he is, De Vicente. Is there any button to push now for Oakland, or is it simply finding a way to execute? And McCabe in.
For the Oakland Roots, you're going to find success certainly through Trejo and Jacqueline when you actually start building a little bit higher up the field, because when doing that, number one, you bait Lexington to step out, but also allow those players more time and space to run into. And we talked about the pace and the verticality that those two subs possess for Ryan Martin. But right now, Lexington doing a good job in terms of sitting extremely deep, but also being really compact within their lines, not allowing a lot of space for Oakland to operate in.
Two crucial moments Lexington made the most of. Oakland has largely squandered. The expected goals bear that out as well, giving you a deeper look at just the chances created. Another metric, another tool, 0.77 for Lexington. They have 2 goals on that XG. Oakland a higher, but albeit meager, 0.82, and nothing to show for it. All about execution in the key moments. Lexington has done that, Oakland has not. Be a 5th win in the last 7 regular season games for Lexington. After starting the season 1-4-3 in their first 8 games, fans had to be wondering if it was just really the same nightmare that they lived at the end of last season all over again. Remember, they had 35 points with 5 matches to play. They lost 4 of their final 5 matches with 1 tie, and included the loss to Oakland 3-0 on decision day. 35 points they had with 5 games to play. 37 was what they needed to make the playoffs, and they missed out. And then you start this season 1-4-3. It's just a giant continuation, it felt like. And then something switched. We actually asked Ryan Martin what he feels shifted for Lexington. One of his lead assistants on this Oakland staff was a former lead assistant at Monterey Bay for then head coach Jordan Stewart, who was now hired as a lead assistant by Mac Hemi as Lexington reworked their coaching staff. Another ball lumped in. Is it a chicken or the egg thing? But it feels like once he came in, there were fresher ideas off the bench for Lexington, and the results came as well. Being implored to shoot was Jacob Green. He gets it back. Green's header wide.
Just so good again from Blaine Ferry. The ability to find this pocket of space, brings in Hackshaw, and then the delicate little touch to go up and over Edwards. If you are Green, you have more time and space. You do not need to go with your head here. You can actually let the ball drop and go with your feet. Becomes a little bit overzealous, lacking a little bit of composure, and just pushes it wide.
Back to that point, I don't want to necessarily shift too much of the credit away from the players and head coach Mac Hemi and to the assistant coach Jordan Stewart. But Ricky, you've been there as a player. How much can just a new voice in the room, Jordan Stewart, a former head coach in this league at Monterey Bay, he was fired early this season after Monterey Bay's poor start. He comes in, and it just seems like something has changed for Lexington. What kind of impact can a new voice, a new assistant coach have on a player?
Well, every single time a new coach comes into the building, as a player, you take it personal, right? You always want to prove yourself to the new set of eyes, saying, I'm here for a reason, and I deserve to stay here. So yes, Jordan Stewart was a defender in his playing career, but still, that sentiment stays the same for a player saying, when he comes in, I want him to be proud of me. I want him to be impressed with my work rate and my efficiency on and off the ball. And we're seeing not only in terms of on the ball for Lexington, but they're working a lot harder. Notice the picture right now. You have Scott, you have Malloy, and then you have Blaine Ferry all dropping within 20 yards of their goal.
Trejo, McCabe. Ryan Martin said as they scouted earlier games this season to more recent ones, with McCabe's ball in, gathered by Zemle, he said you could notice just more of a punch for Lexington on the defensive end and more of a willingness to go direct and just use their talent for talent's sake in the attack. It's come off in moments. Epps fouled. A yellow shown to Tingy. Another sub being prepared on the Oakland side. Told it'll be Julian Bravo for Jesus De Vicente. Here's a look at that foul that got Tingy into the book. That change will happen here. Bravo in, De Vicente out with a limp. He's been very important for the Roots. It's been a revolving door on the back line as different players have been injured at different points of this season. Adding literally injury to insult right now, down 2-0, to have a player like that come off nursing something. Plenty of space for Epps. Green. It's felt like a lot of these moments, Ricky, that there's just been too much space to work with for Lexington in between the back line and the midfield line of the Oakland Roots. There just seems to be a disconnect there.
As the second half has progressed, Tommy McCabe and Babos Biarahonga having a really difficult time at finding the balance. Understanding that now Blaine Ferry and Malloy are sitting deeper, so they're baited to step higher, and that opens up that gap between the two center backs and the two midfielders. So one or two things need to happen. You either stay at home and eliminate that space, or the two center backs need to be more aggressive at stepping higher and making that space a lot smaller.
Just doesn't feel like it's happening tonight for Oakland, as Lexington draws nearer and nearer to bringing the record to even at 6-6-3, to leapfrogging from 11th into 5th. Keep coming back to that conversation with Matt Hemme ahead of this game. He did not want to downplay the fact that they are in 11th, and you are what your record says you are, and your point total is your point total, but optimism was the word he kept bringing up, that the trajectory of this team was very, very exciting for the staff, for the players, and this would be a continuation of that. A 5th win in the last 7 games. They take the elevator all the way up from 11th into 5th, and they would be just 4 points out of 2nd with a game in hand. That's how quickly things change in the Western Conference. Trejo, though, trying to keep some glimmer of hope alive for Oakland. A swing and a miss, loose in the middle, deflected. Recovery from Javane Brown.
Yeah, really good work from Danny Trejo as he spins by Zenge. And as he puts this ball into a dangerous area, you are Florian Velo. You need to be tougher here. You need to just run through this thing. Put your laces through it. Don't try to pass it through, especially you know contact's coming. Good recovery in the end from Lexington, but that is a wonderful opportunity for Oakland.
Velo from the corner. He'll get it back.
Good ball.
Trejo, deflected by Ferry, did well not to concede the corner. Injuries have played a part for 33-year-old Florian Velo, making his 6th start, 11th appearance tonight. But he looks like he has lost a step so far this season compared to the player he was at Loudoun. You wonder how much of that is age at 33, how much of that is coming back from what has been a awkward start to the season, stop-start with a knock that he's had. Oakland certainly has the firepower to look at other options in the starting 11 going forward if need be, but he does just have a certain quality about him, and he brings a danger that he brings, Florian Velo, if he gets back to 100%. You don't want to just cast him aside entirely. There also becomes a question of, does Ryan Martin's affinity for the player and history with the player at Loudoun, does it cloud the judgment at all going forward? Does he stick to his guns a little too much with that? Epps turning the corner. to the end line. Epps floating one back post. It stays in play. It'll be a corner. Alert from Zenge to keep it alive, where it looked like it might have curled out and back in, but he kept it going.
Good move from Marcus Epps. Notice to swivel the hips as he drives at Tingy here. Shows like he's going to go inside right there. And then the explosiveness of pace. And everyone just turns off here. Everyone thinks this play is done. Credit to Julian Bravo cutting it out because Scott is right there. Could have very easily been the third for Lexington.
Blaine Ferry had the second goal of the evening. 63rd minute, assist from Philip Goodrum. He goes short now in the corner. Ferry gets it back. Malloy lurking as well. They tried a similar play earlier, didn't work out. Now the service, snapped down by Firmino. And just sent straight into the sky by Biarahunga. Wilson touching it beyond his defender. Zemle scrambling, fed across. Danny Trejo saved by Zemle. Oh, what a stop from the keeper. Peter Wilson is doing everything he can to try and will this team back, but his teammates are not helping him.
Just so good for Peter Wilson to beat Brown for pace and then just put this ball on a platter for Danny Trejo.
He's been disappointing so far this season, Danny Trejo. There's no way around it. 1 goal and now 15 appearances, 6 starts. For a player who led Phoenix to the title in 2023 with 17 goals that season. Then he went abroad to Poland for a year. Last year came back to Birmingham. It was the wrong fit. Joined Oakland midway through the year. Never really got going, had an injury. Scott muscled off by Hackshaw. But that's one that in 2023, you're expecting Trejo to finish 10 times out of 10 for Phoenix.
And it goes back to the message that you need more production from elsewhere for the Oakland Roots. We saw Florian Velo moments ago not go 100% into a loose ball. Danny Trejo now a 1v1 with Zemle. Those are 2 golden opportunities that you need to take advantage of if you want, number one, to claw yourself back into this game, but to be a real threat in the Western Conference, because now teams are going just to try to cut, number one, cut the supply into Peter Wilson, or just go man for man with him, as the Oakland Roots are struggling to find goals elsewhere.
We asked Ryan Martin, and he's encouraged by the season Wolfgang Prentice has had. He's pleased with Peter Wilson just doing Peter Wilson things, what we came to know at the end of last year. But at some point, all those guys around them have to step up. One man cannot take a team that far. The yellow is shown to Blaine Ferry. You go back a few years, Milan Olaski won the Golden Boot on what turned out to be a last place Orange County team. And it was a similar story where he was doing everything, but the pieces around him were not. No matter how good he was, he couldn't solely get his team over the line in a long season like this. And Peter Wilson, same thing.
Substitution for LSC, number 22.
Joe Hafferty replaces Jacob Green on the Lexington side. And that'll be all for Florian Velo and Peter Wilson as Faisal Batash enters in the midfield and Jackson Keel enters up top. Maybe a white flag from Oakland in this one, pulling Wilson and Velo off as well. It's a little throwback evening. In the Stone Age, before the days of 5 subs, you only had 3. Matt Kemi's only used 2 tonight. It's working for him. Why make any changes right now?
I thought you were talking about the DJ. It's a good throwback song.
On the flip side, Oakland fresh out of subs, all 5 now used. Two massive fixtures for these two teams on the weekend, with Lexington taking on Tulsa and Oakland visiting Sacramento. It's going to tell us a lot about both these teams and where they are. Measuring stick week for both, going against each other here tonight, and those two games on the weekend. And it might be gut check time for Oakland. On the Lexington side, we've talked about how quickly you can ascend with a win tonight going from 11th into 5th. If you're Oakland, you start shooting a few games like this together and the teams around you hold serve in their games, you can sink quickly. They were very fortunate on the weekend. They were idle this weekend, but a lot of the teams around them either beat up on each other or tied or were also off. They only fell one spot this weekend in a very tight table while they were off. You can't have too many of these where you lay an egg. Otherwise, you're going to be the team that quickly, very quickly, starts wondering what went wrong.
You're looking at back-to-back losses on the road now for the Oakland Roots. You're Ryan Martin, understanding this is not a good sign if you are Matt Kemi and Lexington, as Brown a little bit slow to come up. But if you are Ryan Martin, understanding that if you want to find success in this league, you have to figure out ways to win and pick up points on the road. Doesn't need to be pretty, just needs to be efficient. You had your chances in that final third defensively. 2 silly mistakes. You've gotten punished against a really experienced and talented Lexington side.
4 minutes of stoppage time. It was last year around this time that Oakland was flying high. They made that early season coaching change, appointed Benny Feilhaber as the head coach. Started 4-2-1 in his first 7 games. The playoffs seemed to be a certainty. And then they finished 2-5-6 and were left wondering what went wrong as they finished 4 points adrift. So Roots fans scarred by last year's collapse, almost collapse of 2024. They had 1 win in their last 10 games to just barely sneak into the playoffs. And then another collapse in 2023 where they had their best ever start through 15 games at the halfway mark and then just sunk like a stone the rest of that season. That was Noah Delgado's full season as the head coach for Oakland. He took over in 2022, led them in the postseason, had the whole season earned in 2023, came back in 24, was fired midway through. Gavin Glinton came in. He finished out that season, did enough to start 25. He got fired. Benny Feilhaber came in. It was the stability that was provided by Ryan Martin coming in this season that gave Roots fans hope. So now it's up to Ryan Martin to figure out what has gone wrong these last couple of games and get them back on track to avoid the same summer into fall swoon they had last year. And you'd back him to do it. We've seen him do it with much less at his disposal over the recent years at Loudoun.
Substitution for LSC in the 92nd.
Jermaine Brown will come off now for Lexington. Arturo Ordonez steps in. The depth of this Lexington team on display as well. Arturo Ordonez, a player who's been Defender of the Year in this league in 2023, who's been All-League First Team. And he is coming in off the bench on a night like this.
2 center backs did a good job dealing with Peter Wilson, but also their box defending for Lexington. How many times have we seen, whether it is Danny Trejo since he's came on, put a ball across? Their positioning has been flawless.
Matt Kemi's fired up as he greets Philip Goodrum coming off as well. Malik Henry Scott in his spot. Goal, assist, yellow card. Filled it up tonight on the stat sheet, Philip Goodrum.
It's a Goodrum special, right?
Sure. Goodrum Special sounds like a bourbon on the menu somewhere amid the Bourbon Trail here in Kentucky.
Yellow card has been issued by the referee in the 93rd minute to LSC's number 18.
Well, if you were taking off Goodrum to get a yellow card off the field to avoid any sort of improbable collapse here, Malik Henry Scott just assured Matt Kemi that it was useless because he picked up a yellow card within 20 seconds of coming on. Final minute of stoppage. Just a matter of what the final score will be. The result of formality now. Flick toward goal by Trejo. One last big save. Now it's Keel, and Malloy is able to clear quietly. Zemle has been heroic tonight when called upon. Opportunities have been few and far between for Oakland. That's his 4th save. 3 of them highlight reel worthy. 4 minutes come and gone. At the liberty of Alyssa Pennington now. Maybe one last chance for the Roots to take something from this game. Trejo out for a corner. Will they even be allowed to take it? From the corner, headed clear. Final whistle goes. It's a 5th win in the last 7 regular season games for Lexington. Before the season started, on paper, one of the favorites. A very poor start, but they have recently announced themselves the USL Championship.
Flex their muscle, this Lexington side, with the quality that they have within the roster for Matt Kemi, understanding that defense was going to be really crucial in this match. Very compact, and you've showed your quality in 2 well-worked goals. Big 3 points for Lexington as they push up the Western Conference.
Big 3 points is an understatement. We talked about it all night long. They started the day in 11th place, but with how tight things are in this Western Conference, they go from 11th into 5th, and they pass the team they beat tonight in the Oakland Roots.
Now pushing the envelope to try to get a home playoff game, especially when they play here at Lexington. Really difficult to beat. It tells you how tight the table is and how important this match was for Matt Kemi, who keep all 3 points in their back pocket.
Philip Goodrum was the star of the night. He has the game-winning goal. He had the assist on the insurance goal to Blaine Ferry, and it's Lexington who celebrates 3 points on 2 goals, taking it 2-0 over the Oakland Roots. We are back in a moment to wrap things up from Lexington. Hey, check 1 2 1 2 8 2 on site. You got us in the booth? Check, check, check.
Hello, hello, hello.
Roger.
Beautiful.
Okay. Got you.
I feel you got us. It's Joe and Ricky Lopez Espen in the booth.
Hello, 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 Phil.
Check, check, check.
How we doing, guys?
Good, you?
Good, good.
We're about a minute out from you, if you can bear with us. We'll come back from commercial. Sorry about that. Appreciate you, though.
Okay. Sounds good. No worries.
Malloy took the headset and chucked it at halftime, so we're already off to a better start here.
There we go. Locked in. That's my captain.
Just promise you won't do the same, right?
2-0 victory this evening for Lexington over the Oakland Roots. The hero tonight, Philip Goodrum, he's standing by. Phillips, Joe Malfa, Ricky Lopez-Espin up in the booth. We chatted with your coach, Matt Hemme, coming into this game. He mentioned some of the frustrations, right? You're a double-digit goal scorer in this league. You're a 20-goal scorer in this league, but it hasn't been clicking yet. Tonight it did, a goal and an assist. What worked out there?
Yeah, you know, the team was just fluid tonight. We felt like last week we struggled. Just things in our press, things in our attack, and all over. So we really went back to the drawing board and just held each other accountable. Mac had a great plan, and we came into this ready to go. We said, you know, we can do whatever tactics we want, but at the end of the day, it comes down to individuals and duels. And so tonight I just felt like we were clicking, and, you know, good ball in from Nicky on mine. We also hit the post. Blaine, great finish on the counter. So tonight the boys were clicking.
Phil, talk to me about your assist, because as you have a 3v1, there's just so many options. So talk to me about the timing, the decision to bypass Bardilio, but also play into Blaine Ferry. Just walk us through that goal.
Yeah, you know, I give a shout out to Bardilio for that goal. If he doesn't make that selfless run to draw the defender to his side, we don't score that. And so I'm just trying to keep my pace up and stay calm and composed, wait for as many options as possible. And, you know, Blaine will get the glory for that one, but all the credit goes to Brow for making a selfless run. That's what this club and this team's about right there.
Phil, big picture, I think you guys might have heard the noise coming into the season. You're acquired. Aaron Malloy is acquired. Big splashes from the team. You start 1-4-3. There's the chatter. You have completely turned it around. You're sitting in 5th place now, and you guys seem poised to really make a run now into the second half of the season. What shifted, I guess, at the end of the first quarter of this season, if you will?
I think our mentality, you know, expectation, noise off the field, that's always going to be there. You know, there's no secret that we have talent on this team, but it's about heart. It's about what we're really made of, and I think we're fortunate to have had this test and these bumps in the road at the beginning of the season, because everybody knows this is American soccer. When playoffs come around, that's when it's important, and so that's what we're ready for, because this club, these fans, this front office, and everybody, they deserve a championship, and that's what we're fighting for this year.
Phil, thanks. Go and join us with your teammates. Best of luck.
Yeah, appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Philip Goodrum, a goal, an assist, a yellow card fielded up tonight. The hero for Lexington did it all, and so did his goalkeeper, Oliver Zemle, when all was said and done. But it was about the attack in the second half for Lexington.
A really quick transitional moment, but notice the right back, the run from Zenge, because that does not allow De Vicente to apply pressure. Allows Nick Firmino to continue to be aggressive, and as Philip Goodrum says, getting himself into a dangerous area, being fluid, gets a redirection, and as this ball pops out, you thought that the Oakland Roots are going to try to fight back. You cannot lose this ball if you are Tucker Lepley. This is attacking 101, and now notice Yaro Hunga, the defender for the Oakland Roots, he needs to make a decision as he shades towards Rodriguez. That opens up the pass near side for Blaine Ferry, and it's a quality finish to go up and over Kendall McIntosh. Just class from front to back for Lexington.
And that would be all they need tonight, but just in case, Oliver Zemle reminding why he's one of the top goalkeepers in this league.
Peter Wilson puts this on a platter into Danny Trejo. If he finds the back of the net, this game is so much more interesting over the last 5 minutes, but Zemle, phenomenal right leg to make himself big, to deny another opportunity, and then another big-time save from the goalkeeper, who was phenomenal and who was flawless for Lexington. Big night on the attacking phase of play, but also to get a clean sheet, that's going to do a world of good for this Lexington side.
That'll do it for us this evening from Lexington, where the home side take it 2-0 over the Oakland Roots. We are on CBS Sports Network next on Wednesday, August 5th for the Richmond Kickers and New York Cosmos. For Ricky Lopez-Espin and our entire crew, I'm Joe Malfa saying so long for now. This has been a presentation of CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports.